Sports Counterpoints podcast, December the 20th, 2022. I am GB. Brian to my left. Coop, what's happening? How y'all guys doing, man?
I'm good.
Doing well.
Good. Good to see you guys, man. I'm on location out in SAC. So, family, happy holidays if you celebrate. Happy December if you don't. New Year's on the way.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I see the Sacramento background for sure. The
yeah,
Sacramento
yeah,
Bridge.
yeah. Just, try and rep lightweight, little K Street life. So yeah, today's show, as always, we're talking sports. One of the things we're most passionate about. So we'll be talking about the NFL as always, check in there, a little bit of NBA talk about what we think is hella hogwash right now, check in on the World Cup one time as it ended, and wrap it on up. So man, let's get to it. What a what a week in the NFL. There were some crazy games. I still think the refs are having too much impact, but let's do our thing. Let's go around. Coop, you played on Thursday, man. Let's start with you. Niners and Seahawks. Niners get that dub and win NFC West.
Yeah. Seattle played them twice this year. They've only scored one offensive touchdown
It's
against us
tough.
this year. So it seems like it's a mismatch when we play the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, they've tried. I think they lost maybe 3 out of 4. They play Kansas City next week, so it's pretty safe to say 4 out of 5. Running game is kind of evaporated for them with the Walker kid, and Geno's had to carry him, which is not his forte. So they've been losing games. When they're able to run, that's when they're at their best. When they don't have to rely on Geno. So Seattle still overachieved 7-7. They're still a chance to make the playoffs. I don't think they get in, but they still have a chance. Like I said, they got the Chiefs on deck. I didn't check who to see who they had after that, but um,
I think it looks
Seattle
good.
played. We just want to. It seems like with the Thursday night teams, I've noticed they just want to get the win and get up out. They're not trying to get margin. They're not trying to rack up stats. They just want to try to build a lead, then run the clock out, then leave because it's a Thursday game. We just played 3-4 days ago. So,
Yep.
good win. Like I said, Brock Purdy, I like. I'm not saying he's all world talent and that he's great, but he's just doing enough and making plays for the 49ers is what they need. I just saw a stat that he's thrown more touchdowns outside of the numbers in the second quarter against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense than Jimmy has done all three in 3 years. So he's throwing the ball down the field, which is good. But I
Wow.
don't have too much to say about this game. We got Washington on deck, and then we got the Raiders and then Arizona. So should close out at least 2-1. We'll see what happens, but not much to
Easily.
say in Seattle.
If not three. Yeah.
Took care of business game. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah,
Didn't have enough.
I agree with a lot with what you were saying. I do think Seattle is at their best when they're able to run the ball strong. I mean, Ken Walker was out last week and coming back. He looked solid, but not great, not spectacular. Obviously, the San Francisco defense, which is amongst the best, if not the best in the league, especially against the run, was going to be a lot to come back to. And then on the offensive side, like you said, Brock Purdy it's not a world beater, but he takes enough shots to keep the defenses honest and not let them stack. And that is making McCaffrey look just spectacular. McCaffrey really looks like the guy that we all thought he was a few years ago. And the injuries kind of limited him to being, but also, he's not built to run into, 8-man fronts. And the Brock Purdy throwing the ball up the top every once in a while, even when he misses them, makes it so that they're not able to do that, and he's able to perform and look pretty good. San Francisco looks like they are a very good team. I still wonder about what they're going to be able to do in pressure moments against other really good teams like a Philly, when they have this revolving door quarterback. Now, it
Yeah.
may be that they have revolved around the door and gone through so many different folks that they ended up with the right guy in Brock Purdy. That's kind of the way it looks. And it may be just dumb luck if they had ended up with Garoppolo or, even Trey Lance or something like that, that it might not have worked out as well. But Brock Purdy's looked pretty good. You still have to wonder if the moment when they get in the playoffs and they're playing in the road for, an NFC championship or even just playing a very solid team early
Yeah.
on, if that moment's going to be overwhelming, or if these much better defenses than he's played so far might be able to expose him a little bit. But all evidence right now is he's a solid player, and the San Francisco coaching, which we both I think go back and forth on, should be applauded for being able to do what they're doing with the injuries that they've suffered at key positions. Also, George
Yeah.
Kittle being healthy and being able to play has been huge. You know, I think I was joking with you all, or said something with you all. They asked Kelsey. They asked Kelsey who the best tight end was, expecting him to say himself, and he actually said George Kittle. He said that the mistake George Kittle made is that he's such a good blocker that they use him in their run game that he doesn't get as many opportunities as Kelsey gets in an offense that's all passing, whereas the San
Yeah.
Francisco are all running. But George Kittle being back and you know getting a lot of deep plays. I mean, he only had 4 catches, but he almost had 100 yards. That's a huge difference maker. That's the kind of playmaking that they need in order for McCaffrey to be able to do what he does, which is what the team wants to do: just pound the ball, run the ball. And Jordan Mason actually only got 4 carries, but looked very good in his limited opportunities.
Yeah, and yeah, that's one problem. I don't like that Mason only got 4 carries. They're relying on Shanahan's relying on McCaffrey way too much for my taste right now. All the carries he's been getting the past couple of weeks, especially with Debo out. I think you probably need to lighten up his load a little bit. Give Mason some more carries. He's a decent running back, averaging over 4 yards a carry. So I just hope McCaffrey is it's the engine that's kind of making that offense go. So including Brock Purdy, but McCaffrey just brings a whole other dynamic to the team. So I just hope he doesn't run him in the ground. I agree with you, what you said on Brock Purdy. You never know how he's going to respond to playoffs until that happens. And personally, I think Kelsey is just a better receiving tight end than Kittle, but I think Kittle is a much better blocker. Both of those guys fit their teams. Kelsey fits Kansas City, and Kittle fits San Francisco.
I think they're just different kinds of receivers, and this may seem weird, but Kelsey's the catch. He's going to go up and get the ball. Kittle just muscles people. Yeah. I mean, he just finds a way to catch it short and then just runs over people, which very much like Gronk, very much like what Gronk used to do. Yeah. But he's really good at it. But anyways, if you were going to pick a team that has the most good things to say about going into the NFC playoffs, I think San Francisco might be at the top of that list with a great defense, very good running backs, great tight end, very solid wide receivers, and a quarterback that's not doing anything wrong. At this point, that's what we should say about him, right?
He got away with one in that Seattle game, though. He threw a pick directly in dude's chest that he dropped in Diggs' chest, which is going to happen. And you could see in his face, he knew he messed up on that one. But in the playoffs, you don't usually get those back. So he'll clean it up. I think y'all got squad, man. There's really nothing to say about it. Like y'all are kind of peaking and adding all the right pieces at the right time. Everybody just stay on the field. Y'all gonna be tough.
Game by game. What's about speaking of peaking? Peaking is the Minnesota Vikings at 11-3. That's who's peaking, right? Peaking and perking.
I love that you guys are right there. Like, I love that it's coming down to this, and both your teams are fighting for that spot, and in meaningful games every week. It's kind of dope.
I got thoughts, but I'm gonna let Brian go first on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, the game was never in doubt, right? I mean, this was a real easy win for the Vikings. I got to tell you, I was watching the game. It was a Saturday game. So we had Thursday, we had Saturday, and then Lynn's game was on Sunday. And I wanted to turn it off after the first quarter, but I didn't. I muted it. I switched it. I put it on a different TV, and then I turned on the PNC Championship to watch Charlie and Tiger. I muted it, but I couldn't help but keep light tabs on it. But I couldn't at the same time pay attention to it, especially when it got to halftime and it was 33-0. At that point, the only thing that I'll be honest was, can they put enough offense together that my fantasy teams won't tank? Because I didn't think they had a snowball's chance in anywhere to be able to come back and win that game. So, third quarter happened, and it wasn't until 8 minutes left that they started scoring. So it wasn't even like the beginning of the third quarter showed a whole bunch of signs of life. It wasn't. It was towards the middle and end when they got hot, and then people started kind of texting me, and I was starting to pay a little bit more attention. But at the same time, at that point, I was like, I'm not turning the volume back on. I got superstitious quickly. I'm not paying any more attention. I'm not going to look at my fantasy stats because I don't want to know if there was a touchdown. I later found out was Thielen that I didn't even know who it was, and I didn't want to look because I was like, I'm done with this game, and it kind of getting closer and closer. And that entire time, all the way until the very, very end, I was just hoping that all of the fantasy players, Hawkinson, who got a 2-point conversion and some other catches, Thielen, who got a touchdown, Jefferson, who got a touchdown. And then at the end,
Wow.
I was like, well, Cook could just get one. I know they're going to lose, but if Cook could just get one, and then he broke that one out, I started paying a little bit closer attention in the overtime.
Your team held you
Huh?
down. They
Oh
held you
yeah,
down in the
yeah,
end.
yeah. Taylor Ball, if you're
Won and
Taylor
got
Ball,
you
if
on the
you're
points.
watching this, sorry, bro. But ended
It's
up
not.
with like a 2-point victory in my fantasy quarterfinals.
Yeah.
But look, here's what to say about the team. This team is really, really dependent on a player that we don't talk about enough, and that's Dalvin Cook. When Dalvin Cook gets opportunities to run the ball and he's not being ran straight into A gaps, he is a difference maker. And in this offense, only once they got way behind, early on, they were just running him into the gap, running him into the gap, running in the gap. And he's getting 1 yard, 2 yards, running hard, but there's just no opportunity, especially not with Darashad just coming back from injury. Our center's still out. The line not being particularly great, even when we have those two starters in. But when they needed to get offense in different ways and started playing hurry up and started opening the playbook and getting a little bit more creative, and then threw a screen pass to Dalvin Cook, who, if anyone has sat and watched the game with me, I'd say all you need to do is misdirection runs, screen passes, and outside runs for Dalvin Cook. He's one of the fastest players in the NFL. I think he has the 5th fastest recorded time this year, speed, excuse me, this year in the NFL. Get him the ball in space. Let him make plays. He does not need people to block every single guy. He can evade them, as he did in the big run that he did off the screen pass. So Dalvin Cook, when he gets opportunities, when he gets opportunities to make plays, he makes them, and the team wins so much more often. All of this to say, we got incredibly lucky. I mean, and we were playing a team that was even somewhat decent at playing football. There is no way we're coming back from that. And more likely, they would have had a bigger lead than 33 points the way we were playing in that first half. But credit, hats off to them. You can only play the teams that are there. The team never said die. They got together. I'm not a huge fan of Kirk Cousins, but the players on that team are. And that's far more
It
important than my
matters.
fandom.
Absolutely.
And Jefferson has a lot of trust in him. Thielen has a lot of trust. I have a lot of respect for Thielen this year. He is not getting the kind of looks that he got last year. I mean, last year he was a touchdown machine. Whenever they got into the red zone, you knew that they were going to look to Thielen. Now they look a little bit more to Jefferson, and they're scoring from outside of the red zone more frequently than they're scoring from inside the red zone.
True.
They make a lot of big plays, and Thielen has not he has not done anything that's kind of prima donna-ish or anything like that. He says, Justin Jefferson is, if not, it says that he's one of the greatest wide receivers. He supports his team. He was excited about Hawkinson, who also took some of his looks away. He still tries to put blocks out there, even though he's a little bit older and probably needs to be careful about that kind of stuff. You just got to love the attitude of a lot of these guys on this team, which is the reason why a mediocre team can be 11-3 and win so many games by less than one score.
You got the MVP on your team, man.
First team in NFL history. I didn't know this. To win 10 of their first 13 games and have a negative point differential. I did not know that.
I did.
That's how is that even possible? How do you score less points than your opponents 10-3?
Because you win every game by 3 or
two.
2 or 1 or 4, and you lose them by 20 or 40 or 30, right? I mean, their 3 losses have been double digit. In Philly, they got pants. In Dallas, they got pants
too. The NFC East.
But anyways, so they have won close games and lost big games. But again, respect to them. The team has always put a happy face on it. They root for each other more than I do. At least it feels like this season.
As they should.
And that is the reason why they're way overperforming. Because I do not think and have not thought at any point in time during the season that they are a good football team. I think that they're a team that's playing to the best that they could with the talent that they have, which is considerable. but the best that they could with the talent that they have, with a new coach who didn't win a preseason game, didn't play anyone in the preseason game. All of those things that was frustrating at the beginning of the season have still come home to roost. But respect, they've got some tough games to finish off the season. But there's still a chance that they could, if Hurts is really hurt, and we'll probably talk about that in a moment, but if Hurts is really hurt, it is not impossible for the Vikings to, if they go and win out and catch a team that has to rest Jalen Hurts for 2-3 games and maybe puts a loss with loss here or there. So it could get interesting.
I wouldn't want that first seed if I was y'all, though. I'd want them to keep playing.
I would absolutely want a bye week if I were the Vikings.
Then buys.
Only get one bye week. Number 2, don't get them.
Yeah. I know, but that second, like this happened last year too. You get that bye. Sometimes you need to stay hot. You get that bye and get toasted by a team that's hungrier.
We need to get healthy. Our offensive line is not as injured as Coop's team, but it's injured.
But that defense needs some help too, which is why I took Indianapolis +4, but I thought Minnesota win by 3, and I thought I was sitting good. 20-0, 23-0, 30-0, 33-0. +4, shit, they about to win outright. You know what I'm saying? And then they put up that stat. No team has ever come back from a 30-point lead. You know how that goes when they put up that stat. He ain't missed an extra point in 97 tries, and then he missed it. So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, Minnesota's going to put a comeback, but they're not going to win this game since they put that step. They're going to make it interesting. And so Minnesota starts scoring. And all of a sudden, I'm looking like that Kevin Hart meme when he looks over and says, wait, hold on, it was 36-28. I'm sitting there like, I think they about to come back. And so a lot of 49 fans were hitting me like, if Minnesota loses, we can get that number 2 seed. And I'm like, no, I think I'm good at number 3 because we be playing the Giants. And so I'm okay playing the Giants at number 3. I'm rooting for Minnesota, and I told you guys because no lead is safe in NFL. And if anybody's going to lose a lead like this, it will be a coach named Jeff Saturday, who probably shouldn't be a coach anyway. So,
coaching on Saturday, first time that's ever happened.
Lose a type of lead like this, and now I don't know. Does it let Shanahan off the hook? Because Matt Ryan just blew another huge lead. This wasn't the Super Bowl; it was a regular season game, but still, he was the quarterback. So, but I mean, look. The analytics guys and statistics guys, they hate Minnesota because they just can't explain them, why they keep winning all these damn games or getting lucky or whatever the case may be. But I think there's some type of value in a team that continues to play and continues to believe they can win a game and doesn't stop until the game is over. I think there's value in winning. And, of course, Minnesota or no team can keep winning like this. But as long as you win games and find ways to win, I think that's something.
Get in the playoffs. That's all you got to do.
There are other teams that are doing the same thing, one of which is in the division in Detroit Lions. I mean, after going, 1-6, they're 6-1 since, right? To be 7-7. And I think their point differential is 2 +2. I think we're plus +2 4 or 5 now.
Okay. +2 now. Yeah.
We're +2, then they're +4, but it's something like that, like for both of these teams. But you watch the Detroit Lions, by example, similar to the Vikings, they play with a ton of heart. They play for their coach. They have a lot of confidence in their ability to win games that they might not have any business winning. And they believe in a quarterback that most people do not believe in Jared Goff.
Hilarious. So similarities. Kirk Cousins MVP, man. Michael Irvin said it. Everybody said he was back.
Well, Michael Irvin's gonna put his vote in. The thing is, he doesn't have one. But yeah.
Hey, Kirk Cousins putting his vote in, and I text Brian like as they were catching up because we had it on, but me and Mom were kind of checking in and in and out because they were getting smoked. I was playing Madden in the other room, and I kept checking, and I text Brian like, "This is about to get Kirk Cousins some more years. You can't get rid of him now."
Well, they couldn't get rid of him anyway, right? From a cap perspective, there's no way that they were going to get rid of him next year for the $23 million. I know that there was like some folks that kind of speculated and all that, but it's just an impossibility. We're almost certainly going to have him next year,
and
given the performance independent of the cap situation.
About to get an extension.
But he just got an extension this past offseason. You can't give the man 3 extensions a year.
Wait, how many years did you just sign right now? I thought it was.
He got another 3 years. That was a salary cap deal. They kind of accelerated the spend, and so after next year they can cut him. And it
okay. I was about to say I thought he had just got his contract a couple years back, but okay.
So Glenn,
he's gotten 2 deals from the Vikings now.
Okay, yeah, cool. What's up with you, boy?
Your team,
man.
was hilarious, boy. First of all, a touchdown counted that shouldn't have counted.
Oh,
And
his feet is in. Check the Instagram pictures. I ain't taking that. If the refs gave it to us, you know it's legit. Because if they could have
right, right.
taken
No,
it, they would have.
That was not a touchdown.
Look
I
at the
need.
Instagrams, bro. I'm telling you.
Wait, go ahead, man. Tell me how you feel about that game. I know it's the New England, so you got to be happy you beat them.
Team played terrible the entire game. I wanted to turn it off, but I would never turn a game off. But my mom was like, leave it. And she was like, I can't watch this. I don't know how you've done this your whole life. It's like, hey, that's shout out to my dad, who I love. Hey man, we're Raiders for life. But they played terrible. I said that multiple times. They did not look good at all. Carr did not look good. I mean, they in the first half, obviously they were getting up. Second half, they weren't looking good. The ball wasn't moving even in the first half, and they were scoring. Got a block the punt on some lucky dude wasn't paying attention to block, and just luck after luck, which never happens for us. So maybe this is that Vegas luck, but the catch, that last drive, then they started chucking it. They started getting completions, moved down the field, air it out to Keelan Cole in the back. He catch it, get both feet in, because if they weren't, the refs would have for sure. There's no way I'm believing that the refs helped the Raiders ever. So, and then the last play of the game, which no one's ever seen anything like this. First time it actually worked in my favor that I've actually seen. Typically, this goes against us. They just dumb out. I knew for sure once he broke that big run, get down, try and get out of bounds, kick it, anything. This dude pitches it back, and then Jacoby Myers throws that pass across the field. Chandler Jones is just man of the hour to catch it, stiff arms, Mac Jones, and he's out there, and we win the game. We were completely shocked. Shouldn't have won, didn't deserve to win, but every dub is a dub.
Man, as I said in the pre-show, I appreciate you taking Chandler Jones away from Arizona. So now we can actually beat Arizona because he's gone. He disrupted our offense. You
I
guys took.
see.
But here's the thing, he used to play for New England, and
Yes, he did.
you guys know why he got cut. He got cut because he was smoking synthetic weed and he walked into the police station naked. That's why Bill Belichick cut him. And so it was
Oh yeah, I hadn't heard that.
yeah, so it was pretty much pretty sweet that he actually had that final play, and the way he stiffed arm Mac Jones, that was just hilarious right there because I saw a shot
Poor
where
guy.
Jones is on the ground, he still got his hand like on his helmet while
Hey,
he's
you can't get tackled by the QB, no matter
oh
what. You
my
can't
god,
fall.
that
So
was
I'm glad he
hilarious,
didn't, bro. I was expecting OT again. I was just happy they tied it up and
man.
just couldn't believe it, bro.
Now,
Utterly shocked.
and the thing is, Mac Jones doesn't have an arm. That's why they didn't call that play. I thought they would just kneel it. But this game actually doesn't say much to me about the Raiders. It says more about New England and how far they've fallen. Because they've always claimed to be the smartest team in the league, and Bill
No, they
Belichick
look
is
terrible.
the head coach. And they look
Defense is good though.
disarray. They got a defensive guy calling plays. You got Mac Jones, who doesn't, not a first round quarterback or whatever. I don't know. Second half, I don't think they haven't thrown a touchdown pass in the fourth quarter all season. So I mean, New
Yeah, I
England's
wouldn't be
just
surprised.
not what they were. So
They
it
got
says more
lucky.
about how far they've fallen. But it was a good win for the Raiders, and it happened against the Patriots. So
I had friends in the game too, which a Raiders fan and a Patriots fan, which is hilarious. I saw like some of the footage of people reacting to it. Also, again, like I'm gonna keep saying, Las Vegas was about that bread, because it was at least half Patriots. It's a destination, and it's a visitation spot, so it's gonna be full of opposing fans unless they can win put together a really good team. I think I'm gonna just say that, and I don't know when that's gonna be.
what's up
Yeah,
with you? How you feel about it? Did you watch it live when it happened, or you saw the replay?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched it live.
Okay.
Yeah, they were abysmal.
it's so bad.
And Glenn was
Both teams.
texting. He's like posting snaps and stuff like that, and clearly just not a happy camper and thought that the team was garbage. I will say that Waller coming back, obviously,
Yep.
a bright spot, comes back, plays well, scores a touchdown or played,
Yep.
and then Josh Jacobs just continues to play very, very good football. He didn't even break 100 yards here, but he was,
Close.
but he was the engine of that team for the game, and kind of kept fighting when a lot of people, it looked like a lot of people on the team just had stopped fighting for a period of time there. But anyways, yeah, the actual play, I actually did miss the actual play and had to see the replay afterwards. I was doing something else, and it was spellbinding to see a Belichick team, which is touted
Right.
for its football intelligence And, the most obvious thing is you are tied. You are the better team. Why are you going away
Defense.
from the idea that you can go out of bounds when it doesn't work out? What in the world does someone think that they're going to get by throwing it backwards to the
Right.
quarterback who's got a lineman standing right there?
Throwing it anywhere backwards. Why would you risk it? There could be
Yeah.
too many players out there for a
Just
fumble. It's
take a
foolish.
step to the right and go out of bounds and
Bruh.
punt it and do it again. Like it was just those plays almost never work, right? They're less frequently successful than Hail Marys,
Yeah, definitely.
typically. So what was that? Why would you put your you're not your season, but your game on the line
Season
for
two,
that?
potentially.
And
They were the
it
seventh
was
seed.
yeah, but
Season two,
it was
potentially.
just an amazingly awful from a football IQ standpoint thing to watch, and they got what they deserved, a loss.
Arrogance. That's what they deserve. Exactly. Just like the
I
Colts.
don't know that they were arrogant. I think that
Yeah,
because
he's
Oh,
Jacoby
I
said
said
he did too
arrogance.
much. That's all. He said he
You
did too
hire
much.
a defensive guy to call plays and think
Oh,
everything
hilarious.
you're arrogant. I'm sorry. You believe in your culture way too much for me. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah,
arrogant.
that's okay. Okay.
I'm sorry.
well,
I mean,
I don't
it's
know,
like the it's
maybe,
like the
but
Colts hiring Jeff
I
Saturday.
don't.
That's
Yeah, that play is not the result of arrogance. Nobody told him, Jacoby Myers to do that. That was just, as he said, it was trying to do too much. He just blacked out and went stupid.
Belichick's teams don't do that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Coop, because if they had probably
Yeah,
better
they don't.
play caller, they'd have been up. Like they shouldn't have even
Also,
been
just
that
because
close.
it's worth mentioning, Ramondre Stevenson may
Stupid.
have
Yep.
arrived. Like he looked real strong. It wasn't just big plays. There were
And
hard fought runs between the tackles, taking
it
the
was
first
key
person to try and
plays
tackle him
when
with them.
needed too. Very key plays
Yeah.
when they needed them and big plays. So yeah, he balled out. He had 172 yards. But yeah, so that was ridiculous. What else about last week? Any other games that you guys?
Man, I want to talk about Miami Buffalo because I have thoughts. Definitely want to.
Oh, definitely. I thought you were gonna say the Cowboys, but go ahead.
No. Well, I always love when the Cowboys lose. I'm not gonna lie, but the Miami Buffalo game, man, Miami played well. It was 3 quarters of cold. The snow really didn't come to the fourth quarter, but Miami played well. Mike
Yep.
McDaniel actually outcoached Sean McDermott. I mean, Miami was able to run the ball on Buffalo. I noticed that Buffalo really doesn't have that much of a pass rush, and they were able to run successfully against them. They outplayed Buffalo the entire game. The only reason they lost is because Buffalo had the best player on the field, Josh Allen, who actually played a little reckless. He's actually been playing kind of reckless all season too. But
He always plays reckless. He's been playing reckless since his rookie year.
I mean,
That's his
Miami
style.
Tua made some throws. When it wasn't snowing, he made some throws. I give him credit. He made some good throws. It was set up by the run game. But Mike McDaniel had a great plan. Now I still don't think Tua's all that. I never will. But if you build a team sort of similar to Alabama, yeah, he'll be productive, and he was productive. But Buffalo ended up getting the win. That's 3 straight losses for Miami. So they lost to the 49ers, lost to the Chargers, and now lost to Buffalo.
Everybody good.
They
Yeah.
should beat Green Bay next week, but they might be a sneaky 6th or 7th seed, which is the reason why I said that. If they come in at 6th or 7th, they could be a sneaky team.
Yeah, Miami has some tough games coming down the stretch. I mean,
Yeah.
Packers are playing better right now. The Patriots are not going to win, but they know how to game plan with
Yeah.
the best and can find sneaky ways to win games they shouldn't. And the Jets have a legit defense that puts them in a game. And I think Mike White will almost certainly be back by then. So that could be a really important game to finish the season.
I don't consider the Patriots a threat only because they don't really play well in the second half generally, and Green Bay can't stop the run. I think Miami will be able to beat that. I just don't think Green Bay's that good. I just don't buy Green Bay at all. But
Sure,
I hear what
but
you're
they're
saying.
winning.
If they went 2-1, it wouldn't surprise me. They went 2-1. I think they'll probably lose one of those games. But I don't think it's
Yeah, but they're winning. Like these teams are all teams that are winning or are winning teams. So
They all have something to play for.
I don't think I don't think there's and all three of them are playing for their seasons these next 3 weeks, right? The Packers, they can't lose. The Patriots obviously want to try and sneak in the back end.
Yeah, they're right
the
there.
Jets are not mathematically eliminated. I
Yeah,
think
they're right with the Patriots.
Yeah,
They lost too though, but
and I think they believe that if they get Mike White back, that they could do something. And it's interesting to see this Jets team and think what they would have been with Bryce Hall and
true.
the other dude who got hurt. I'm sorry, Wide receiver got hurt. But anyway, so they've got plenty of talent on that team. And
Beat by the Lions also, who you mentioned earlier. Lions win
Yeah.
that
Yeah, they
game.
won. That's because Zach Wilson played. Yeah, that guy's
Yeah.
absolutely horrible.
It's kind of cold. Like I'll be watching the game and like I'll be thinking about something you would clown somebody, Coop, or something you said, like here he goes with a pick, and like you might have sent it earlier and I happened to look at it at that same time whenever later and he's about to throw a pick. Like dang, like it
Dude's
can't just
bad.
happen every time you look, man. Like
Here's the thing though. It's not. I understand if you draft somebody in top 5, top 10, he's a bust. It happens. Not everybody's going to be good. The problem is a lot of NFL teams like to
gotta
still
keep
that
them.
guy and
Yep.
act like, oh yeah, everything's all good, whatever. You got to just admit the mistake and just move off. And if
Arizona did.
they would just move off of Zach Wilson or keep him on the team because he's cheap.
But they did. They moved Mike White. Mike White just got
Yeah,
folded.
he got
folded up and
blasted.
beat up, and they said he went to 10 doctors to get
Oh
one
no,
of them
I'm
to
not
clear
talking
him.
about this season, Brian. I hear what you're saying. I'm talking about
Yeah.
next season. Like, don't bring Zach.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, he has to be gone.
So the Jets have become the team that everyone thinks that their quarterback's going to go to. They're talking about Jimmy G ending up there. They're talking about them making a shot at Brady. They're talking about them.
Rodgers.
I mean, every free agent quarterback that's out there, they're like, the Jets are going to try and get them because you have to understand why. Their defense is elite.
Right.
And they have elite talent at the positions, and they have an early draft pick this year.
They got picks, yeah.
And other picks. So if they could get a free agent quarterback and not have to use a pick on a quarterback, and put that into line and other real solid positions, because they don't need the skill. They got Sauce Gardner, they got Garrett Wilson, they got Bryce Hall. They could be a really good team next year if they get the right guy in there. And that right guy might not be Lamar Jackson. It might be Jimmy G. It might be someone like that who can just take advantage of having a supremely talented team.
If they get Jimmy, they better get in the backup. A good one. Oh, they got Mike White.
They got Mike White.
Yeah. Okay. How you guys feel about Philly, man? I don't think there's too much. I think there's a drop off, but not too much of a drop off from Gardner Minshew. I think Gardner Minshew is a really high level backup, in my opinion. I've seen him.
I think he's a high level backup, but Jalen Hurts is about to win the MVP. So there is a drop off. Like there is a reduction. I'm not saying that it's not a knock against Gardner Minshew. That's just a reality that if that the team has won all of but one of their games with Jalen Hurts, and there's got to pay some respect to the guy who's gotten them there and what he's done. So I do think that they could find ways to lose a game or there, and that's not any knock on Gardner Minshew to say he can't win. It's just a reality that a backup quarterback going into a team that has this much momentum and this much moxie is going to change. And the Cowboys game is going to be tough.
Yeah, I don't think of as highly as Philly as everybody else. I think Jalen Hurts has improved as a passer, which I gave him a lot of flack, but he has improved. I don't think he's there yet, but he has improved.
They got the defense, they got the offense.
I don't
think it's people thinking super highly of Philly or anything else. But I don't think when people talk about the best NFC team, they talk about the 49ers. They don't talk
about Philly. No, they talk Philly. They all got Philly.
I only see them talking about the 49ers, and they're talking about, they're so talented and they're the best, blah, 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 blah. It's all there. It's never Minnesota, and it's rarely Philly. But you have to pay respect to a team that only has one loss.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the players who have gotten them there. If you were to look at the team, you would be like Jalen Hurts is elite, and you would say AJ Brown is elite. But after that, there's not a whole bunch of people that you're jumping up and down. David Montgomery is not somebody that. He's a different team, excuse me. But the other, the running backs and the players that are on that team are
Sanders
not. Sanders is what
they got Slay.
Are not people that you're thinking of are as elite players. So, but you got to be able to pay respect to the fact that they've been able to do that. And their best running back is obviously Jalen Hurts. So.
Yeah, right. Definitely bodybuilder. So he'll be back. He's a bodybuilder.
Yeah. What about?
I don't have much to say about the Cowboys. I mean, I think none of us expect them to actually make a deep playoff run. They're the Cowboys.
I think the Jags at home be getting overlooked, though. I will say that they get down, but they play hard.
Yeah, they play hard. I don't know about you guys. Have you every time now? I don't know. Ever since that thing happened with Deshaun Watson, every time I look at him, I just think, I don't know. I look at Deshaun Watson, it's like something happened. I don't know everything, but something happened. You know what I'm saying? I kind
Yeah,
of
you
look at it
know.
like kind of sleazy now. You know what I mean? It's
I
just
don't think
like,
that was ever really a question in my mind.
it's like, you know.
Well,
But yeah, I
I'm
look,
pretty sure there's a few of those people who saw an opportunity to make money,
yeah,
but it damn sure ain't all of them. They
right,
didn't all
right,
get together at the library and go,
right,
hey, we're going to go get Deshaun
yes,
Watson. Like, there's
yeah.
no way,
right.
you know, what is the joke when they talked about, like, I think it was Chris Rock who was talking about, you know, the ODB couldn't have possibly done some of those crimes. Coolio did some of that shit, you know, like,
Rest in peace
Right,
to
right,
both.
Deshaun Watson most definitely did some of
right,
that.
right. Oh
Yeah,
man. Hey,
yeah.
real quick, you guys, man, who you guys got for your NFL coach of the year? I know who mine is. Who you guys got? A lot of people's taking Philly, Sirianni from Philly.
Yeah. I'd probably say Sirianni or Shanny.
Who you taking, Glenn, Brian?
I think it's going to go to the Philly coach.
Okay.
I think there's a
Actually, could
very
be
strong
Minnesota.
argument. Huh?
Could be Minnesota too, because you guys are
I was
from
going to say, I think
first
there's
year
a
coach.
very strong argument that the Minnesota coach deserves it. And that's just because I have no idea how they're winning these damn games.
Okay. So
I'm
Yeah.
watching the games, trying to figure it out. We talk about it like all the time.
Heck yeah.
those are good
You
choices.
have to have a little bit of respect for a coach who came in his first year and has used all these pieces that were there before, but has used them in a way to win football games. And there
Yeah.
has not been substantive changes. There's the linemen; they're not brand new. On both sides, the defense is very bad, and they haven't had a chance to revamp that since the Zimmer team. And he's won a lot of games. I mean, 11 wins is a good season, and we've still got 3 weeks left.
Yeah, those are good choices. I think they're going to give it. The media's going to give it to Sirianni. I
Oh,
don't. You guys got good arguments, but mine is somebody totally different. It's Brian Dable of the New York Giants. That team sucks, and they're 8-5-1. I with Daniel Jones of all people at quarterback. Brian Dable has done an excellent job. That team has won an average of 4.4 games the last 5 years. They won 8 this year, and I don't know how.
Saquon healthy makes a difference. Saquon healthy.
He's been healthy before, but they ain't been playing like this. I mean, they're not even scoring a lot. They only scored 20.
I'll tell you right now, I'm nervous about our game. It's another Saturday game. I don't know why we become the Saturday special.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
We're playing the Giants.
Oh, you'll win that game. You'll win that. Yeah, the Giants,
game.
I think, yeah.
I'm not allowed to take anything for granted when we have to come back from 33 down.
No, I feel that.
I'm with you on
I feel
that. Yeah, you can't take games for granted. I give you that.
So there's some other games last week, whatever. I'm kind of over that. But who else? What y'all got for this week, man? Quick rundown.
Well, I think
Giants, Vikes
guaranteed the Vikings by it's minus 3.5. Jason, where do you land there?
The Vikings minus 3.5. Ooh, at home against I'm taking the Vikings. I don't buy the Giants like that. Hell no. I'm taking the Vikings all day.
I worry about Saquon Barkley and other players being able to make too many big plays early and us playing catch up yet again. But I do think that they're going to win. I would take I would give the 3.5 because I would say if it was 2.5, I'd absolutely take it. They're a 3-point winning team. That 3.5 line is a very smart line. But I think I have to believe at this point that in spite of ourselves, we will find a way to win football games. Unfortunately, historically, when I actually have some level of confidence that we're going to win a game, we lose. So,
Me too.
And it's a Saturday game, which means that we're the only team on television at that point in time. Not exactly a primetime game, but we're the only thing on. That is not good for our
No, you're good, B, because Sunday's Christmas Day, so most of the games are Saturday.
Well, yeah, I get that, but how many games are on? Oh, so no, we got wins, right? It's 5 games.
Right. You got a couple Sunday, and
they better put us on. As long as they don't put us on national television.
No,
you should be good. You're at 10 a.m.
You're good. That's why you're going to cover and win.
Yeah, you should be good.
Ooh, they're going to put us on national television because it's the Vikings versus the Giants, which are two possible playoff teams on Fox. It's the Chiefs versus the Seahawks going to be on Fox. They ain't putting that on national television.
Yeah, it's not a
Lions and the
prime
Panthers.
time, though.
That's not prime time. Yeah, you're good.
I know, but national Cousins is not. He's a different dude. When those
MVP
cameras,
Yeah.
retiring a
high-def
Viking.
cameras get in on him, he goes,
Ret-
but
re-
anyways,
Hey,
retiring a
hopefully,
Viking.
a
hopefully we can
sneaky
do it.
a sneaky good game. I'm not going to watch it. A sneaky good game though. It has playoff implications. To be perfectly honest with you, is Detroit and Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
If Carolina wins, I think they'll be tied for first place. I believe with Tampa Bay.
Detroit needs that win too.
And so Detroit needs that win as well. But I'm not watching that game. The games that interest
I don't think
me,
it'll be on. Yeah.
49ers, of course, but it's first one is Cincinnati and New England. I'm really interested in seeing that game because Burrow is the truth. I take that back. I'm not interested in seeing the game, but I want to know who actually wins that game. But Burrow is the truth. I'm a buyer in Burrow, and they're playing in New England. So we're going to see what New England
They've been
has.
starting slow recently though. They gotta pick that up, man.
That game,
Patriots
but
actually got a defense, and they're gonna be salty after last week.
Chase is back. Mixon's back. They're
yeah,
starting to get healthy and get
I
back into
couldn't
the
take
mix.
New England. I couldn't.
Burrow's for real. And it's only a 3.5 point spread. I kind of like Bengals on that one.
The only thing that scares me, though, the Bengals have had a lot of big games, man. They're due for like a letdown in one of these games.
They
Man. They
almost
just
got let down last week.
yeah,
But they've also been playing
Monday.
with they've also been playing without their playmakers, right? They were without Chase for several weeks. Mixon was having the problems with concussions.
Problems with
So
concussions.
yeah. So I do think I don't know. I do think that this is one of those games that I like the Bengals and I think they'll win by at least more than 3.5 points or more.
And then the
Word
game,
up.
I'm telling you right now, I'm taking Philadelphia +5 against Dallas. I don't care that Gardner Minshew's the quarterback. I think he's good enough to beat Dallas. I don't give that game a shoe in for Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas got to be hurt after last week, after Sunday.
Well, Dallas is doing something that
Saturday.
they haven't done. I mean, people are not Dak Prescott fans. I get that. I know you most certainly aren't, Jason. But he does not throw picks. And that's the thing that he's been doing lately.
Unless they're Shabs.
But like, he has more picks in the 9 games he's played this season than he had the entirety of last season. Those numbers sometimes equal out. I agree with you that I think, and I'm actually really hoping that the Eagles win this game because it ends our chance of getting the number 1 seed. I recognize that, but it also ends the worry about the Cowboys taking the 2nd seed from us. Still got to worry about the 49ers, obviously, but it's just one less worry. And I think I don't know. I would probably the reason why I would take the Eagles is because you have to give up 5 to take Dallas, and I don't have that much confidence in them.
Yeah, and Dallas is at their best when they run.
If this was Eagles -3, I would take Dallas.
Yeah. Dallas is at their best when they were able to run the ball. I think over the last 4 or 5 games, they've averaged over 120 yards rushing. That's when Dak is at his best. If you rely on Dak to actually carry you, that's where the problems are. I don't think they'll be able to run that effectively against Philadelphia, which is why I'll gladly take Philadelphia +5. I just don't think Philadelphia's defense will allow it for them to get comfortable running the ball, which means they got to rely on Dak, which is always a bad proposition. And it wouldn't surprise me if Philadelphia
won. Moving on a little quickly, 49ers -7 against the Commanders. Do you think the 49ers end the Commanders season?
Yeah, I think they were. Not saying because I'm a fan. I just don't think Washington is that good. I mean, if I want to say something that's hogwash, it's Taylor Heineke. I mean, this guy throws for 130 yards and a pick, and they still win. They talk about how good he is. I don't get it. I don't think he's that talented. I don't think he throws that well. The 49ers defense should be able to limit him.
Yeah.
I see why the total is like 38, 39 points. I just don't see Washington scoring, 20 points or so to even try to win this game. I just don't see it happen. I think the 49ers do just enough and then get prepared for that Raider game because that's going to be a big game on New Year's Day.
Brian Robinson Jr. has been, I mean, is it possible to win comeback player of the year in your rookie year? Because he might very well.
Hell yeah.
if it could possibly happen to be the comeback player in your rookie year,
right.
His story, we're coming back from the gunshot in preseason and running hard. He is one of he runs like Adrian Peterson, what these other people who look for the contact. If he sees the guy coming from his left, he turns left. Most running backs turn right. He turns left. And goes right into him. So I really like him as a running back. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the 49ers absolutely end their season effectively. And that'll be good to see again for the 49ers to kind of cement their status.
Word. All right. So I mean, we play the Steelers. It's whatever. We need to win the game for any chance. It's a good game to have to try and win against a team that's not that great, but we've lost these games throughout the year. So
And
we'll
you're
see
not
what
even
happens.
favored.
It's a look ahead. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
not
I'm not
favored in
surprised.
Pittsburgh. It's a look ahead spot, man. The game is against the 49ers. I think you guys lose against Pittsburgh. The game is against the 49ers. That's the one you
Well,
want to
that
play.
I mean, you lose against Pittsburgh, the season's done. Then you're just playing for the hope of
I think you all
the
beat
rights.
Pittsburgh.
They have to.
Not because they have to or whatever. I just think that they're a better team. And I really
We'll see
think
what
that
they do.
Josh Jacobs going to enjoy himself in that game.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. All right, word. So, kind of moving on, kind of keeping the show moving. NBA, just kind of quick check-ins, man. Give me your thoughts. I'm kind of just looking at the standings, kind of wondering, are you guys watching basketball at all? Do you care? I've watched a couple games this year.
I
Uh,
try to
Go ahead, B.
I try to get into it every once in a while, and the Lakers show some signs of life. And I'll put the best of what I say is I'll put it on while I'm doing something else. I can't focus
Sure,
the attention on it because then I feel like I've invested too much of myself
definitely.
in a team that just I still don't really like. I still don't like Patrick Beverly. Russell Westbrook looks serviceable in a backup role. He's even had some solidly good games,
On the low.
but I still can't get behind him. He still does some of the most moronic basketball plays ever, trying to force fancy passes and around the back passes or throws it off people's heads. Um, but what I did find kind of interesting was how quickly they gave up on that Suns game. And what I mean by that is AD was hurt. And so then LeBron was like, well, I'll rest because I don't think we're going to be able to beat Phoenix without AD. And then on the day of the game, Westbrook's like, oh, if they're not playing, I'm not playing. And he rests. And it was
Yeah.
just, it was spellbinding how quickly they're like, well, if we can't win it, we're not playing. And, Scottie Pippen Jr., who hasn't gotten, I think, more than 10 minutes all season, got 10 minutes in the game. And obviously they got smacked. But they've done that a few times where throughout the season where they and it maybe it's smart. Maybe Darvin Ham is a mad genius where they realize against good teams they can't win without being healthy, and they mail it in. And everyone just he gives lots of minutes to the bench guys and other people who are there, and they just mail that in and they wait for the next game. And it'll be interesting because the Lakers are starting to look like a team that could sniff 500, which means they could get into a play-in. I said they wouldn't, and I didn't think that they would. And if they get to 500 or even slightly above it in the next month, I have fear that they will close the door on making any trades with Westbrook unless they get. They've already said we won't give draft picks unless we get an all-star in return. But so they're not going to sell off Westbrook. But if they get to 5, I think they're going to stick with Westbrook, and the rest of the season is just a lost cause at that point.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw a stat a couple of days ago where when Westbrook is on the court, the Lakers get outscored by 71 points, and when he's not, they outscore the opponent by 28 points.
AD has been awesome. I know you don't like that, man. AD has been freaking awesome. I know he's Mr. Glass. I totally understand that. But when it comes to being able to play basketball, he really can.
Yeah. I just he's the Jimmy Garoppolo of the Lakers. I mean, actually no, he's much better than Jimmy Garoppolo in his position. Take that back, but still, you just can't rely on players that's always injured. Can't.
It's
Just ask the Clippers.
I mean,
yeah. My quick NBA shout outs just for the Kings, man. They're out here. I've been actually watching Kings games because I've been in town out here and hanging out with friends and stuff. And they play hard, man. I like what Mike Brown's doing with that young team. I like the beam. I love, man, the marketing of it. What it represents. I think it's great, man. So they're in the mix right now. We'll see what happens over the season, but I'm hoping to get in the playoffs because they're overdue. It'd be cool just to see him get there. I'm not expecting a championship or nothing. I'm just shout out to the young Kings team, the Beam team.
well, Mike Brown's always been good with youngsters. He's always been able to get
He's
them to
rolling.
play defense. It's the veterans he can't coach. So as long as he got some youngsters,
He ain't really got none beyond Fox, and he's still in my eyes kind of a young player. So
Yeah.
word up. Any other thoughts, or let's keep sliding.
Let's keep. I'm going. Let's keep
Keep
going.
sliding. Give me the quick. What's hella hogwash real quick. Give me what are you guys seeing right now?
Brian, I know you got some hogwash. Go ahead, my man.
Yeah, what's
No. Well, because I don't want to steal something from Glenn. I was going to say Glenn should go first.
Okay,
mine?
Glenn.
Mine is I mean, referees still got to figure it out. That's weeks and weeks in a row. I don't know what they're doing. But honestly, what's hogwash? What's a bunch of hogwash to me, man, is the dang Raiders always being on the other side of these punk rock losses, losing to the Rams, Baker Mayfield. So I got to hear about how he's the next coming again, and he's back, and he's not. Looked terrible again. Losing to Jeff Saturday in that game. I got to hear about Jeff Saturday. He ain't won jack since. Stop, man. They almost did it yesterday. Almost did it again yesterday, up 16-3 and almost lost again, trying to would have broke another a record for most losses when leading by double digits at half. Stop, man. It's hogwash. Like, get it together, bro. You guys are you're supposed to be better than that. But yeah, that's what I had.
All my hogwash is NFL related. There's three of them. Number one, in that Washington game when Terry McLaurin checked with the referee to make sure he was on the line of scrimmage, and he said, all good, and then flagged him for not being on the line of scrimmage. I'm sorry. I'm not the type that
Oh, that's cold.
But you got to do better than that. He checked with you. That's what all receivers do. They all check. Even in high school, they always check. They said, okay, you're good, and then flagged them for it. I'm like, NFL reffing. I mean, I'm sorry. Y'all got to take some, but you got to be better. That's my first one. The next two, Jeff Saturday has been outscored 55-0 in the fourth quarter. They don't fire his ass after the 55-0 the last two games against Dallas and Minnesota. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, give credit to they won the games, but I mean, you got to fire him. And the last one is the New England. I can't get off of New England. Mac Jones was 13 for 31 that game. He had 13 damn completions. They're 30th in passing touchdowns this year. 30th behind Denver. I thought Denver was last. I mean, they got Belichick got family members on the staff, defensive guys calling play. I'm sorry, that's hogwash. Just have all that BS going on.
Hogwash. Those are my. So I actually expected what you said, Jason, to come from Glenn because of the refs. What happened at the end of that game is a travesty, right? So first, look, McLaurin was off the line by a yard, but he did check. The guy said move forward. He moved forward. He checked. He pointed at the guy again. I guess he didn't say anything, but then you could see the ref pulls the flag before the play snap. So he was hella ready. McLaurin was looking the wrong way. He was looking at the ball, getting ready for the play. But the ref was ready. I mean, he was just like, yep, we're about to flag him. And then, so, that happens. And then PI in the first 10 minutes of the game is PI in the last minute of the game. And that guy could have filed assault charges in the end zone with as many times as he got grabbed, pulled, and tackled. They had one arm around him. He pulled his arm down twice. Then he goes over and tries to get to the ball. And because he hit the ball, they don't call it. That was as blatant a PI as there was. So I don't know what those refs were doing for that last minute of playing time, but it was abysmal. And these refs absolutely need to get to a point where after that game, someone from the league calls and says that wasn't okay. And they had I can't remember who they had, the ex-head of officials, but it wasn't Pereira who was on there, and he came on there and said, yeah, this was awful. Like, this was a bad showing.
Yeah, it was bad.
And he said, I like these guys. They're good guys, but this was a bad showing. They missed this call, and this was not something that they should call in this moment.
Who was it, Dean Blandino or something?
I can't remember.
Okay,
that's who it was.
That
was all that. The way that they handled the end of that game was hogwash.
Yeah. I got so sliding on real quick, World Cup, man, it's over. Definitely I'm seeing again articles popping up about all the human rights abuses over there. But the tournament itself was pretty good, man. Shout out to Argentina for winning it all. Messi gets his World Cup, brings it back to Argentina. His, been one of the greatest, arguably the greatest. This is just, kind of one of the final feathers in his cap as he gets closer to retirement. So shout out to Messi and Argentina. They played a heck of a game. It was on 7 a.m. on Sunday. Luckily, I remembered it was on about 7:30 when I woke up, put it on my phone, and was, in and out of consciousness, but paying attention. And, see Argentina goes up 2, and then Mbappe just goes crazy. That young dude is nasty on the pitch, man. Guy is filthy on the soccer field. Scores 2, ties it up. They score an OT, a goal each, and then go to shootout. As a soccer fan or football fan, best thing you can hope for. So it's a really good game. Shout out to Argentina for winning it all. And yeah, that's your World Cup. So as we get towards the end of it, man, it's always a pleasure doing the show with you guys. This is our minute to win it. Your chance to talk about whatever you want. Um, go for it, man. I don't really got nothing right now. Just appreciate everybody for listening.
This is for Brock Purdy. I just need him to keep winning and win just one playoff game. Just stay healthy in one playoff game, and that ensures I never have to see Garoppolo throw a pass for the 49ers ever again. Just win one playoff game and stay healthy.
Hey, I'm gonna knock on wood for you, bro, because you said that last year, and then 25 quarterbacks got hurt, and that was
Yeah.
All of them on your fantasy team.
Okay, I have a minute to win it now. Brothers who aren't supporting their little brothers. That's how about that? This guy. Why I gotta catch these, bro? Strays galore. This guy. Hella strays, but not go ahead, B.
Amir Nasir Azadani. That's who I'd like to talk about. Soccer player for Iran who faces execution for his part in a protest. People are coming out and trying to support him, but you know, you mentioned it briefly, Glenn, that now that the World Cup is over, there's been a little bit more focus, but the focus has been on what's going on with the Iranian people, the Iranian soccer player, and they've kind of forgotten that it was Qatar that was killing people left and right to get the event there. I mean, everything about this event has. I know it's a beautiful game, and I heard that the final was an instant classic, but the things that we gave up as a humanity to get that beautiful moment are too much. And Amir Nazir Azadani could lose his life because he wanted to support a basic human right to not have morality police kill the women in Iran for ridiculous things. I sincerely hope that for whatever reason, either we, the United States, or NATO, or whoever needs to get into it, the World Cup can say, hey, if you kill a soccer player based on a protest they did at our event, you will never be allowed to be in the event, whatever it takes, so that man's life is spared. And that's what I got to say about that.
Definitely. Only way to end it, man. Yeah, definitely hoping for the best for dude, man. That's way too much.
Yep.
Ridiculous. That's our show. We'll catch you next time. Sports Counterpoints podcast. It's December 20th, 2022.